Commander Kate Henderson stood at the main viewport of Earth Defense Station Alpha, her green eyes fixed on the swirling darkness of space. The coffee in her cup had gone cold hours ago, forgotten as she watched the strange readings on her monitors grow stronger. Something was coming. "Commander, the anomalies are getting worse," Lieutenant Rick Powell said from his station. His young face looked pale in the blue glow of his screen. "All 6 defense stations are reporting the same thing. Whatever's out there is bending space itself." Kate nodded slowly, placing her cold coffee on the nearest console. At 42, she had spent half her life defending Earth from her orbital post, but she had never seen anything like this. The space before them rippled like water in a pond, distorting the stars beyond. "Get me a direct line to General Martinez at command," she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear creeping up her spine. "And someone wake up Dr. Barnes in the eye center. I want to know why our prediction systems are acting strange." The station hummed with activity as her crew worked. Earth's orbital defense network was humanity's pride and joy. 6 stations armed with the most advanced weapons and artificial intelligence systems ever created. They had never failed before. But today felt different. The first sign that something was terribly wrong came when all the plants in the station's hydroponics bay died at once. Then the eye started giving impossible answers to simple questions. Now, the very fabric of space looked sick. "Commander," Rick's voice cracked with panic. Multiple objects just appeared. They're everywhere. Kate's breath caught in her throat as she saw them. Hundreds of ships, if you could call them ships. They looked more like twisted metal dreams made real, impossible shapes that hurt her eyes to look at, gleaming with a light that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. "Battle stations," she ordered, hitting the station-wide alarm. Red lights flashed as her crew scrambled to their posts. "Get me fleet-wide communications." The ships. The alien ships, because what else could they be? Hum motionless in space. They formed a perfect sphere around Earth, each one identical and wrong in ways Kate couldn't explain. "This is Commander Henderson to all Earth defense stations. Hold your fire unless fired upon. Repeat, hold your fire." She took a deep breath. "Let's not start an interstellar war if we don't have to." Dr. Barnes burst onto the bridge, his gray hair wild, and his eyes wide. "The eye is gone," he gasped. "All of it. Everything. It's like something reached into the computers and scooped out their minds." Before Kate could respond, every screen on the bridge lit up with the same message. The words appeared in perfect English, but they made Kate's head hurt to read them. "We are the Surge. We have come for the Dreamers. Resistance is irrelevant." "What the hell does that mean?" Rick whispered. The answer came in the form of a beam of impossible light that struck Defense Station Beta. The station didn't explode. Instead, it seemed to fold in on itself, turning inside out before vanishing completely. 10,000 people, gone in an instant. "Open fire," Kate screamed. "All stations, open fire." The remaining defense stations unleashed everything they had. Plasma beams, kinetic rounds, nuclear missiles. Humanity's most powerful weapons splashed harmlessly against the alien ships like water on stone. "They're scanning us," Dr. Barnes said, staring at a handheld device. "Not our ships, our minds. They're looking at our dreams." Another message appeared. "Your dreams are strong. Your imagination feeds us." "You will serve." 2 more stations vanished, twisted into shapes that shouldn't exist before disappearing. Kate felt sick, but she kept giving orders. They had to fight. They had to try. "Commander," Rick called out, his voice steadier now. "I'm picking up a pattern in their attacks. They're not just destroying the stations. They're harvesting something from them first." Energy readings spiked just before each fold. Kate's mind raced. If they were harvesting something, that meant they needed something. If they needed something, they could be hurt. "Dr. Barnes," she snapped. "You said they're scanning our dreams. Can we use that? Can we fight back with our minds? The old scientist's eyes lit up with understanding. Maybe. The human mind during REM sleep produces unique energy patterns. If they're harvesting those patterns, he ran to a console, fingers flying over the keys. Another station gone. Only 2 left now, Alpha and Delta. Commander, Rick shouted, the colonial fleet is reporting ready for emergency launch. 20 ships, 50,000 civilians. Kate made her decision. Tell them to go. Now, we'll cover their escape. She turned to Dr. Barnes. Doctor, whatever you're going to do it fast. Dr. Barnes looked up from his console. I'm sending them everything. Every dream ever recorded in our sleep studies. Every nightmare. Every hope. Every fear. All at once. The nearest alien ship shuddered. Actually shuddered. It's working, Kate breathed. Rick, tell Delta Station to do the same thing. Upload every dream recording we have directly to their scan beams. The alien ships closest to the stations began to twist, their impossible geometries becoming even more confused. Several of them seemed to be trying to fold themselves, but couldn't quite manage it. But it wasn't enough. New ships took their place, and the message came again. Your resistance is remarkable. Your dreams are perfect. You will feed us. Delta Station vanished. Colonial fleet is away, Rick reported. They're clear of the system. Kate nodded. Dr. Barnes, encrypt everything we've learned. Every scan, every reading. Especially the dream effect. Transmit it to the colonial fleet. Commander, he started to protest. Do it now, Doctor. That's an order. She turned to face her crew. It has been an honor serving with you all. Rick, initiate station self-destruct. Let's see how these bastards like it when we choose how we fold. As Rick entered the codes, Kate sent one last message to the colonial fleet. This is Commander Henderson. The surge feeds on dreams. Remember that. Earth is lost, but humanity survives. Find a way to fight them. Find a way to win. And whatever you do, never stop dreaming. She looked out at the twisted metal ships one last time and smiled. The self-destruct wouldn't beat them, but it would deny them one last harvest, one last act of defiance. Sweet dreams, you bastards, she whispered. Defense Station Alpha erupted in a flash of light and energy, taking 3 of the alien ships with it in its death throes. The rest of the surge fleet descended on Earth, their impossible shapes blocking out the sun. But far away, racing toward the stars, the colonial fleet carried humanity's hopes. And in their computers, they carried the key to fighting back. The discovery that human dreams could hurt the invaders. The war for Earth was over. The war for humanity's dreams was just beginning. Dr. Alan Carter hadn't slept properly in 3 weeks. Dark circles hung under his blue eyes as he stared at the brain, scan results floating on his lad's holographic display. The colony ship Starweaver hummed quietly around him, carrying what remained of humanity through the darkness of deep space. Run it again, he muttered to himself, rubbing his tired eyes. There has to be something we're missing. The lab door slid open with a soft hiss. You need to sleep, Alan, said Linda Reeves, the ship's chief medical officer. Her gray hair was tied back in a neat bun, her face showing the same exhaustion they all felt. You can't help anyone if you burn yourself out. I can't sleep, Alan said, not looking away from the displays. Not while this data from Earth Defense Station Alpha is still unsolved. Commander Henderson gave her life to get us this information. We have to understand it. Linda walked over and looked at the brain scans. They showed the neural patterns of sleeping humans, recorded just before the surge attacked Earth. Waves of blue and green energy danced across the image, forming patterns that shouldn't have been possible. What are we looking at? She asked softly. Dreams, Alan replied, enlarging one section of the scan. But not like any we've seen before. Look at these energy readings. When the surge scanned our defense stations, they weren't just looking at our technology. They were harvesting something from our minds. A knock at the door interrupted them. Steve Reynolds, one of the junior scientists, stood there looking excited. "Dr. Carter, the new scanning equipment is ready. We've got 50 volunteers ready for the dream study." Alan nodded, finally turning away from the display. "Let's do it right this time. Full neural monitoring, complete energy readings. If the surge wants our dreams, I want to know why." The Dream Lab took up a large section of the Starweaver's science deck. Rows of pods lined the walls, each designed to monitor every aspect of human sleep. The volunteers were already waiting, a mix of civilians and crew members willing to help solve the mystery. "Remember," Alan told the volunteers, "just try to sleep normally. The pods will do the rest." As the subjects drifted off to sleep, Alan watched the readings with growing amazement. Each dreaming mind produced unique patterns of energy, like tiny galaxies of thought and imagination. "This is impossible," Linda whispered, looking at the readings. "Human brains shouldn't be able to generate this kind of energy." "But they do," Alan said. "Only when we dream. Only when we imagine." He pointed to one particularly bright pattern. "Look at this one. The subject is dreaming about flying. The energy output is incredible." Hours passed as they gathered data. Alan was about to call an end to the session when all the monitors suddenly spiked at once. "What was that?" Steve asked, checking the equipment. Before anyone could answer, a new ship appeared on the Starweaver's long-range sensors. But this one was different from the Surge's twisted metal nightmares. It was elegant, almost organic in design. "All hands to alert stations." Captain Frank Morris's voice came over the ship's speakers. "Unknown vessel approaching." Ellen stared at the dream readings, then at the ship on the screen. "Wait," he said, grabbing the comm unit. "Captain, look at the energy signature of that ship. It's resonating with our dream patterns." The strange ship drew closer but made no aggressive moves. Instead, it transmitted a message in multiple languages, including perfect English. "Children of Terra, we are the Meridians. We have been following the Surge's path of destruction. We offer friendship and knowledge." The next hours were a blur of activity. The Meridians proved to be a highly advanced species with a deeply spiritual culture. Their representatives, tall beings with silvery skin and graceful movements, came aboard the Starweaver. "Your species is unique," the Meridian leader, who called herself First Singer, told them. "In all our travels, we have never encountered beings who dream as you do." Alan showed them the data from his dream study. The Meridians examined it with what seemed like awe. "Now we understand why the Surge wants you," First Singer said. "Your dreams generate creation energy, what we call the power to shape reality itself. The Surge feeds on this energy, enslaving species who produce it. But human dreams, they are stronger than any we have seen. Can you help us fight them?" Ellen asked. First Singer's large, silver eyes seemed to shine. "Better. We can help you understand your power. The Surge thinks they can harvest your dreams. Let us show you how to turn those dreams into weapons." The revelation sparked hope throughout the colonial fleet. They weren't just refugees anymore. They were humanity's last, best chance at fighting back. "We'll need to modify the dream pods," Alan told Linda and Steve as they rushed back to the lab. "If what the Meridians say is true, we can use them to harness and focus dream energy." "The Surge won't expect it," Linda added. "They think they're hunting scared refugees. Instead, they're about to face a species learning to weaponize imagination itself." Alan finally felt tired, but for the first time since Earth fell, it was a good kind of tired. They had hope. They had allies. And most importantly, they had begun to understand their own power. As he prepared for sleep in his own quarters, he looked out at the stars streaking past the Starweaver's windows. Somewhere out there, the Surge was still consuming dreams, still destroying worlds. But humanity wasn't finished. They were just beginning to wake up to their true potential. "Sweet dreams," he whispered, echoing Commander Henderson's last words. But this time, They weren't words of defiance in the face of defeat. They were a promise of what was to come. In his dreams that night, Alan saw the future. Fleets of ships powered by human imagination, weapons forged from consciousness itself, and the Surge learning to fear the very dreams they had sought to steal. The war for humanity's dreams was about to enter a new phase. And this time, humanity would not be caught sleeping. Captain Noah Bennett floated in zero gravity, watching asteroids drift past the observation window of Hidden Base 1. The massive rocks of the Proxima Centauri asteroid belt kept them safe, hidden from the Surge's twisted metal ships. But they couldn't hide forever. The latest Dream Core is ready for testing. Engineer Susan Martinez called from behind him. She pushed off a wall and glided over, her dark hair floating around her face. This one's different. We used Dr. Carter's new pattern. Noah nodded, turning away from the window. The shipyard spread out below them, carved into the heart of the largest asteroid. 3 ships sat in different stages of construction, unlike anything humanity had built before. "Show me," he said. Susan led him to the testing chamber. Inside, a sphere of swirling energy hung suspended in a magnetic field. It pulsed with soft blue light, like a star made of dreams. "We're calling them ghost drives," Susan explained, checking readings on her tablet. "They run on pure dream energy. No radiation, no heat signature, nothing the Surge can track." She smiled proudly. "And the best part? The Meridians say these drives are actually stronger than standard engines, because they're powered by human imagination," Noah said, remembering what their alien allies had taught them. "The one thing the Surge didn't expect us to weaponize. The first ghost ship, which they named Dreamer's Dawn, was almost ready for its test flight. It looked different from traditional ships, smoother, more organic. The Meridians had helped with the design, showing them how to build hulls that could channel dream energy. Captain, a young technician named Paul rushed into the chamber. "We're picking up Surge activity at the edge of the system. 3 ships, standard patrol pattern." Noah's jaw tightened. How close to the belt? Too close. They're scanning more thoroughly than usual, like they're looking for something specific. Susan's eyes met Noah's. "The ghost drive is giving off some kind of energy signature. They must be able to detect it, even if they don't know what it is." "Then we launch now," Noah decided. "Better to test the Dreamer's Dawn in combat than let them find our base." He hit the base-wide comm. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. Launch crew to Dreamer's Dawn immediately." The next hour was organized chaos. Noah took command of the ghost ship, with Susan as his chief engineer. The crew of 50 was small, but that's all they needed with the dream-enhanced systems. "Ghost drive powering up," Susan reported from her station. The ship hummed around them, but it felt different from normal engines. It felt alive. "All dream cores are stable. We're ready." Noah took a deep breath. Launch. The Dreamer's Dawn slipped out of its asteroid dock, like a fish through water. Its hull, designed to bend light and dreams alike, made it nearly invisible to normal sensors. "Surge ships are 8 minutes out," the sensor officer reported. "They haven't spotted us yet." "Keep us in the asteroid field," Noah ordered. "Susan, how's the weapons system?" "Dream cannons are charged. They work just like Dr. Carter and the Meridians designed. They'll disrupt the Surge's ability to fold space. At least in theory." The Surge patrol grew closer. Their twisted metal forms hurt the eyes, just like always. But now, watching them through the Dreamer's Dawn screens, Noah felt something new. Hope. "They're changing course," the sensor officer called out. "They've spotted something." "No, they're confused. The ghost drive is making them see phantom signals all through the belt." Noah smiled. "Like a hall of mirrors. Susan, bring us around behind the nearest one. Let's test those dream cannons." The ghost ship moved like thought itself, sliding between asteroids without a sound. They came up behind the smallest Surge vessel, close enough to see the impossible angles of its hull. Dream cannon locked, Susan reported. Ready to fire. Send them a nightmare. The dream cannon fired. There was no beam, no explosion, just a wave of pure human imagination, focused into a weapon. The surge ship shuddered, its twisted form trying to fold and failing. Direct hit, Susan shouted. Their space folding capability is offline. They're stuck in normal space. The other two surge ships turned to attack, but the Dreamer's Dawn was already moving. The ghost drive let them dance between asteroid and energy beams like they were part of a dream themselves. Second target locked, Susan called. Dream cannon recharge. Another shot. Another surge ship crippled. The third tried to escape, to fold away to safety, but the ghost ship was faster. In less than 5 minutes, all three surge vessels hung helpless in space, unable to use their most powerful abilities. The meridians were right, Susan said, checking the readings. The dream energy disrupts their whole system. They don't just feed on our dreams, they need them to function. Noah opened a channel to Hidden Base 1. This is Captain Bennett. Ghost ship test successful. I repeat, ghost ship test successful. The dream drive works. The weapons work. Everything works. Cheers erupted over the comm. In the base carved from asteroids, humans and meridians celebrated together. They had just proved that humanity could fight back. What do we do with them? Susan asked, nodding toward the crippled surge ships. We send a message, Noah said. He opened a broadcast channel. Attention surge vessels, look upon your twisted metal dreams and no fear. Humanity is coming for what you stole. He gave the order, and the dream cannons fired one last time. The surge ships didn't explode. They simply came apart, their impossible geometries falling into normal space like broken glass. Send word to all hidden bases, Noah told his communications officer. Tell them to begin full production of ghost ships immediately. Tell them. He paused, looking at the debris field that had once been their enemies. Tell them that humanity's dreams are no longer for harvest. They're for victory. As they flew back to base, Noah thought about Earth, about all they had lost. The surge had thought they were consuming humanity's greatest weakness, their ability to dream, to imagine, to hope. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength. The Ghost Fleet was just the beginning. Soon, humanity would have an armada of ships powered by dreams, crewed by people who had learned to turn their nightmares into weapons. The surge wanted dreams. They were about to live through a nightmare. Lieutenant Kelly Peterson lay in the dream pod, her mind floating in the space between sleeping and waking. Around her, the ghost ship Shadow Whisper hung silent in space, its dream drive barely humming. They were deep in surge territory, closer to Earth than any human had been since the invasion. Neural patterns stable, a voice said softly. Dr. Carter, monitoring from the ship's dream lab. You're ready to walk, Kelly. She took a deep breath and let her consciousness expand. The Meridians had taught them this technique, how to project dreams outward, to touch other minds across space. The surge used similar abilities to harvest dreams. Now, humanity had learned to turn it back on them. Kelly's mind reached out, touching the nearest surge installation. Their twisted metal structures felt even stranger from the inside, a maze of stolen dreams and broken thoughts. But she could navigate it now. She had practiced. I'm in, she whispered, her physical body remaining still while her dream self moved through the alien station. Their defenses, they don't see me. It's like walking through their dreams. The first time they had discovered this ability, this dream walking, it had been an accident. A sleeping technician had somehow linked with the surge ship systems during a battle. Now they had an entire team of trained dreamwalkers, and Kelly was their best. Primary control node located, she reported. Beginning shutdown sequence. In her dream state, Kelly could see the flow of energy through the surge station. Their technology was built on stolen dreams, layers upon layers of harvested imagination. She reached out with her own dreams, carefully unweaving their patterns. Multiple targets approaching, warned Lieutenant Joe Harris from the Shadow Whispers Bridge. Surge patrol ships, 5 minutes out. Working faster, Kelly said. Sweat beaded on her physical body's forehead as her dream self raced through the alien systems. Almost there. The station's defenses finally noticed her. In the dream space, they took the form of twisted shadows, reaching for her with claws of forgotten nightmares. Kelly didn't fight them. She had learned that only made them stronger. Instead, she let her own dreams flow around them, becoming as insubstantial as mist. Patrol ships entering weapons range, Joe reported, tension in his voice. Got it. Kelly's dream self found the core of the station's systems, a swirling mass of stolen dreams. With careful precision, she began replacing them with her own prepared dream package, a sophisticated virus developed by Dr. Carter and the Meridians. The effect was immediate. The station's twisted metal form shuddered, its impossible angles trying to fold and failing. The approaching patrol ships suddenly stopped, their systems linked to the station's network. Virus is spreading, Kelly said, her dream self already withdrawing. Time to show them what a human nightmare looks like. The virus wasn't just shutting down their systems, it was feeding them a very specific dream. The memory of Earth's last stand, the defiance of Commander Henderson, the rise of the Ghost Fleet. Every defeat the Surge had suffered, packaged into one overwhelming nightmare. Kelly pulled back into her physical body, gasping as her eyes opened. Clear the area, she ordered. That virus will have them tied up for hours, but we don't want to be here when their reinforcements arrive. The Shadow Whispers' dream drive hummed to life, carrying them away from the chaos they'd created. Behind them, the Surge installation and its patrol ships drifted helplessly, trapped in a loop of human nightmares. Back in the ship's briefing room, Kelly met with her team of dreamwalkers, 4 other men and women who had shown the same ability to project their dreams into Surge systems. They looked tired but satisfied. The virus worked better than expected, said Anna Chen, the team's technical expert. Early reports show it spreading through their network. Each infected ship or station becomes a carrier, passing it to others. The Meridians were right, Kelly said, looking at the tactical display showing the virus's spread. The Surge is so dependent on stolen dreams that they can't properly filter or block new ones. They're going to feel this one for a long time. Dr. Carter joined them, his face excited. We're getting data back from the infected systems. The Surge, they're not just stealing dreams from humans. They've done this across dozens of worlds, hundreds of species. Used to do it, Kelly corrected him. We're shutting them down, one station at a time. A message from the bridge interrupted them. The Meridian fleet had successfully rescued another group of enslaved beings from a nearby system. The Surge's hold was weakening, their empire of stolen dreams beginning to crumble. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore, Kelly told her team. We're fighting for every species they've harvested, every world they've twisted. And we're winning. That night, as the Shadow Whisper made its way back to their hidden base, Kelly dreamed. But this time, she dreamed of victory. She dreamed of Earth restored, of twisted metal straightened, of stolen dreams returned to their rightful owners. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, the Surge felt her dreams. For the first time in their long history of conquest, they knew fear. The dreamers they had tried to harvest had learned to fight back. The dreams they had tried to steal had become weapons. The next phase of the war was beginning. And this time, the Dreamwalkers would lead the way. As Kelly slept, her dreams joined with thousands of others, humans and aliens alike, all dreaming of freedom, of victory, of an end to the Surge's nightmare. Their combined dreams flew through space like silent lightning, seeking out twisted metal ships and stations, carrying their message of defiance and hope. The Surge had wanted humanity's dreams. Now they were drowning in them. Dr. Peter Walsh stared at the massive machine in front of him, its crystal core pulsing with soft blue light. The Dream engine filled most of the secret facility carved deep within Europa's icy crust. After months of work, it was finally ready for testing. Power levels are holding steady, Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez reported from her control station. Her fingers moved quickly across the holographic displays, monitoring dozens of systems at once. The Dream Matrix is stable. Peter nodded, trying to hide his nervousness. This was more than just another weapon. It was humanity's biggest gamble yet. The Dream engine was designed to amplify human dream energy on a scale never before attempted. Begin the test sequence, he ordered. Start with minimal power. Around them, teams of scientists and engineers watched from behind protective barriers. Meridian observers stood among them, their silver skin reflecting the engine's blue glow. This technology combined their ancient knowledge with humanity's raw dream power. Amy started the countdown. Dream Matrix engaging in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The engine's crystal core flared brighter. In the testing chamber below, a small piece of surge technology, salvaged from a destroyed ship, began to twist and bend. But this time, the twisting wasn't random. It was following human will. It's working, Peter breathed. We're not just disrupting their technology, we're controlling it. The test continued, each phase showing more promise than the last. The Dream engine could take the natural dream energy the humans produced and focus it into a coherent force. It could reach across space, touching surge ships and stations, turning their own twisted metal dreams against them. But there was a cost. Sir, one of the medical technicians called out in alarm. The dream donors are showing increased stress patterns. Peter rushed to check on the volunteer dreamers, 50 men and women who had agreed to sleep in specially designed pods, feeding their dreams into the engine. Their faces were tight with pain, their bodies twitching. Shut it down, he ordered. Shut everything down now. The engine's glow faded. In the dream pods, the volunteers began to relax, but Peter could see the toll it had taken on them. Using dreams as a weapon had consequences. We need to find a way to protect the dreamers, Amy said, joining him by the pods. The engine works, but not if it hurts our own people. Before Peter could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. A voice came over the speakers, Captain Frank Morris of the Defense Fleet. Multiple surge signatures detected. They found us. All hands to battle stations. Peter and Amy raced to the control room. The tactical displays showed at least 20 surge ships entering the Jupiter system, their twisted forms casting strange shadows on Europa's icy surface. How did they find us? Amy asked, already working to power up the facility's defenses. The engine, Peter realized. The test must have created a signal they could track. We're not ready for this. The engine isn't stable enough for combat. But they had no choice. The Ghost Fleet was scattered across 3 systems, conducting raids. The only ships at Europa were a small defense squadron, not enough to stop a full surge assault force. Begin emergency startup sequence, Peter ordered. Get me Captain Morris. The captain's face appeared on a screen, his ship already moving to engage the enemy. Doctor, please tell me that engine of yours can fight. It's not fully tested. Using it could harm our dream donors. If we don't use it, the surge will harvest everyone on Europa. Make the call, Doctor. Peter looked at the volunteers in their dream pods. They were awake now, following the battle alerts. One by one, they nodded to him. They knew the risks. They were willing to take them. Amy, start the engine, Peter said. Full power this time. Captain Morris, keep them busy for 3 minutes. That's how long we need to reach battle strength. The Dream engine's crystal core blazed to life, brighter than ever before. The volunteers' faces showed pain again, but they didn't pull back. Their dreams flowed into the machine, amplified, and focused into a weapon unlike anything in human history. The surge ships hit the defense squadron hard. 2 human vessels were lost in the first exchange, their ghost drives failing under the assault. But they had bought precious time. Engine at full power. Amy shouted. "Matrix is stable." Peter took a deep breath. "Target the nearest surge ship. Show them what Terra's children can really do." The engine fired. There was no visible beam, no explosive force, just pure dream energy, focused and amplified into a weapon. The targeted surge ship didn't just stop functioning. It transformed, its twisted metal form reshaping itself according to human will. It worked. Amy's voice was filled with awe. "We're not just disrupting their systems, we're rewriting them." More surge ships fell under the engine's influence. Some simply stopped moving, their stolen dreams replaced by human nightmares. Others began to change shape, their impossible geometries becoming something new, something human minds could understand and control. But the dream donors were suffering. Blood trickled from some of their noses, their bodies shaking with the strain of having their dreams amplified so powerfully. 2 minutes. The medical technician warned. That's all they can take. It was enough. The surge fleet was in chaos, their ships either disabled or transformed. The few that tried to escape found their space-folding abilities blocked by waves of focused dream energy. Finally, Peter gave the order to power down. The engine's crystal core dimmed, and the dream donors fell into exhausted but natural sleep. "Get me a damage report," he told Amy, "and find out if any surge ships got away. They can't know what we've built here." But it was too late for that. The dream engine's success had proven something the surge had never expected. Humans weren't just good at producing dreams. They could reshape reality itself when those dreams were properly focused. As medical teams tended to the brave volunteers, Peter looked at the engine's core. They would improve it, make it safer, build more of them. The surge thought they had found an easy source of dreams to harvest. Instead, they had awakened humanity's true potential. The war wasn't over. But for the first time, Peter could see a clear path to victory. Humanity would need more dream donors, more volunteers willing to risk their minds in the engine. But they would come. They would fight. Because that's what Terra's children did best. They dreamed of a better future, and then they made those dreams real. Even if they had to reshape reality itself to do it. The combined fleet hung in space near the orbit of Mars. Thousands of ships gathered for humanity's final push toward Earth. Ghost ships floated beside Meridian vessels, their dream drives humming in harmony. 3 massive dream engines, built into converted asteroids, pulsed with blue light among the fleet. Commander Kate Henderson would have been proud. Captain Noah Bennett stood on the bridge of the flagship Freedom's Dream, looking at the tactical display. Lieutenant Kelly Peterson and her Dreamwalkers were already at work, their minds reaching out through space to scout the enemy positions. "Surge fleet detected," Kelly reported, her voice distant as her consciousness roamed. "They've transformed Earth's orbital stations into something else. Something wrong." Dr. Alan Carter checked the readings from his science station. "The energy output is massive. They're using Earth itself as a dream harvester." "Then we end this today," Noah said firmly. He opened a channel to the fleet. "All ships, battle positions. Dream engine crews, stand by." In the engine control rooms, Dr. Peter Walsh and Chief Engineer Amy Rodriguez made final adjustments. The dream donors in their pods were the best they had, trained to handle the engine's power without burning out. "The surge knows we're coming," Susan Martinez reported from her engineering station. "Their ships are moving to intercept. Hundreds of them." Noah took a deep breath. "Send the signal." Throughout the fleet, dream pods activated. Thousands of humans closed their eyes and began to dream, not of fear or defeat, but of victory, of home, of Earth restored. The surge struck first, their twisted metal ships folding space in impossible ways. But the ghost fleet was ready. Dream cannons fired, their energy disrupting the surge's attempts to bend reality. "First wave engaged," Noah announced. "Dream engines, begin primary sequence." The 3 massive engines fired in perfect sync, their combined power reaching across space. Surge ships caught in the beam didn't just stop. They transformed, their stolen dreams replaced by human will. They're adapting, Kelly warned. Something's happening to their central consciousness. The space around Earth seemed to twist, the orbital stations warping into a single massive form. Finally, the surge revealed their true nature, not ships or stations, but a vast collective consciousness that fed on dreams. Now we know what we're really fighting, Dr. Carter said, his fingers flying over his console. They're energy beings. The twisted metal is just a shell. The battle raged across the solar system. Ghost ships danced through waves of dream energy, their crews fighting with imagination, turned into weapons. Meridian vessels provided support, their ancient technology amplifying human power. But the surge was strong. They had consumed the dreams of countless species, built an empire on stolen imagination. Several ghost ships fell, their dream drives overloaded. One of the dream engines took a direct hit, its crystal core cracking. "We need something more," Peter Walsh called from the damaged engine. "The dream donors can't take much more strain." Kelly Peterson's eyes snapped open on the bridge. "I have an idea," she said. "Captain, remember how we infected their network with our nightmares? What if we did the opposite? What if we gave them something they've never experienced before?" "What do you mean?" Noah asked. "Hope," Kelly said simply. "They feed on dreams, but they only take what they want. The energy, the patterns. They've never experienced the full power of a human dream. The emotion, the meaning." Dr. Carter's eyes widened. "The dream virus, we could modify it. Instead of nightmares, we show them everything. Every dream, every hope, every moment of human imagination. Not as energy to be harvested, but as experiences to be lived." Noah looked at the twisted form of the surge's true self, still growing above Earth. "Do it. All dreamwalkers, prepare for maximum effort. Dream engine crews, stand by for new targeting data." The next few minutes were a blur of activity. Dr. Carter and his team reprogrammed the virus while Kelly linked all the dreamwalkers into a single network. The dream donors in the engines synchronized their minds, ready to amplify not just power, but meaning. "Ready," Kelly said. Her nose was bleeding, but her voice was strong. Noah opened a fleet-wide channel. "All crews, all warriors, all dreamers, close your eyes. Dream of home, dream of hope, dream of everything we are and everything we can be. Dream for humanity, dream for Earth, dream for every species the surge has harvested. Dream for the future." The dream engines fired. The dreamwalkers reached out, and across the fleet, humans dreamed together. They dreamed of Earth's blue skies and rolling oceans. They dreamed of cities rebuilt and families reunited. They dreamed of first steps and last dances, of laughter and tears, of love and loss, and everything that made them human. The surge tried to resist. Their twisted metal forms writhed in space, trying to process this new kind of dream. But they couldn't stop it. For the first time in their ancient existence, they weren't just consuming dreams, they were experiencing them. Kelly's voice rang out, carried on waves of dream energy. "You wanted our dreams. Then take them. All of them. Every hope, every fear, every moment of joy and sorrow. Take it all." The massive form above Earth began to change. The twisted metal straightened, reformed, became something new, something that could understand the dreams it had tried to steal. "Look," Susan gasped. "The orbital stations, they're rebuilding themselves." The surge's consciousness was transforming, overwhelmed by the full experience of human dreams. Their ships stopped attacking, hanging motionless in space as their entire species underwent a change that couldn't be undone. When it was over, when the dream energy faded, a new voice spoke. Not the cold, demanding tone of the surge, but something that had learned to dream on its own. "We understand now. We see. We dream." The war for humanity's dreams was over. Not with destruction, but with transformation. The Surge learned to create their own dreams instead of stealing them. The species they had harvested were freed. Their dreams returned. Earth was restored. The orbital stations rebuilt. The twisted metal dreams became beautiful ones. 6 months later, Noah stood at the same viewport where Commander Henderson had made her last stand. The Earth Defense Station had been rebuilt, but better than before. A memorial plaque honored those who had died defending humanity's dreams. Kelly Peterson and her dreamwalkers had become teachers, helping the Surge learn to dream on their own. Dr. Carter and Dr. Walsh worked with Meridian scientists, studying the true power of human consciousness. The Ghost Fleet patrolled the stars, ensuring that dreams would always be protected. And every night, humanity dreamed. They dreamed of peace and progress, of exploration and discovery. They dreamed of a future where imagination wasn't something to be stolen, but shared. Terra's children had risen, and their dreams had changed the galaxy forever.